needs me for that next kick. So I've just got to be ready. And so it's really just a mental game of me telling myself, just forget about the last one. Every kick is independent from another. You know, it does not matter. Like for offense, first and second down, they're kind of dependent on one another. For me, that last kick and that next kick aren't dependent on one another. Very independent.
Zach, going back to the lows, did you notice anything in particular that you did on those kicks? Was it mechanics or anything like that?
So, no, in the West Virginia games, that was just some tough weather that I was, the 54-yarder, it was short. It was still a really good hit. I just didn't drive it enough through the wind. And then same thing with the 46 off the upright. I just didn't play the wind correctly enough, and I pushed a little bit too much right than I was expecting it to. And so, on those, it's just, it's unfortunate, but for me, it's like I didn't just shank them. I didn't miss them by a lot. Like, they were both really close kicks, and obviously you want them to go in, and I'm never going to justify a miss, but at the end of the day, it's something I can learn from and say, okay, hey, I missed them, but now I can learn from it. I can see, okay, hey, maybe next time just a little bit more left for the wind, or maybe I can get my foot wrapped around it a little bit more to drive it through the wind, through that wind.
New deep snapper, new holder. How do you adjust to a new snapper, new holder?
That's what the summer's for. And thankfully I was able to get a lot of good work with both Ben Anderson and Josh Plaster this past summer. And we were able to get a great cohesion and great chemistry together through the summer. And then once fall camp hit, it just kind of all clicked. And, I trust those guys just as much as I trust Casey and Turk. So those two guys, as a kicker, you're controlling maybe 10% of what you can. Holder, snapper, and the ball's in the air for 85% of what we do. So I trust those guys pretty much my life, and I say, I'm going to control what I can control, and I trust them to get their jobs done. And this fall camp, they've done exactly that.
What about kickoffs? How's the kickoff stuff for you? Have you changed anything up with that?
No, kickoffs have always been my bread and butter. I feel like, always through high school and even through this past year. I haven't really changed much. I do think Coach Schmit has got me a lot stronger in the weight room. So I've actually been bombing kickoffs even more. I felt like through fall camp.
From an outsider's perspective, it seems like kicking can be kind of an isolated position. But when you are going through those lows last season, just who were some players in your ear that were telling you exactly what you needed to hear to help you get through that?
So one of the biggest contributors to that was Casey Kelleher last year. He was a sixth-year guy, and I had grown up with him through my freshman year, my sophomore year when I didn't play and I was behind Gabe. And then as well as last year for my first year, he was there as my snapper. So, he was really there. He was close to me. We were really close. And, he was always just telling me, you just got to move on, like respond, like the team's going to need you. And, he had been through his highs and he'd been through his lows, and he had seen Gabe through Gabe's highs and his lows. So he knew all the details to tell me just to get my mind right for the next kick and make sure that I'm not beating myself up too much on those lows, and also not getting too high on the highs, because he also knows that can also kill you if you get too high on the cloud nine.
Do you guys still keep in touch a pretty good amount?
We do, yeah. I actually was at an old punter's wedding this past summer. I got to see him there, and I know he's getting married, so hopefully I get that invite.
Nice.
But we'll see if I'll be able to go. But yeah, we definitely keep in touch. I'm always making sure that he's doing well, asking how he's doing. So it's always good to keep in contact with him, because him and I are really close.
Sure. A couple of successful trick plays last year. How more equipped do you feel to do that maybe this time around, if you're asked to do that kind of thing?
I don't know what we'll do. I'll be shocked if teams let us run those anymore. But I don't think I can get too much into that. But Coach Nunez does a great job with all of that, with all of his schemes, and we just I felt like we did a great job of executing those this past year. So maybe we'll get to run some this year, but it was his first year last year. Maybe some new coordinators will make sure he doesn't get any tricks on them this year, but we'll see.
You mentioned your legs feeling pretty strong after the offseason. Has that kind of pushed you that field goals too, or just?
Yeah, I would say a little bit. The thing with a lot of kickers, and you'll see this around Division I and college, and even Division II, and pretty much any collegiate kicker. A lot of guys' ranges are like 65 plus, and they can like 65 and in, and the occasional 70 and in. If you put me out here on sticks on a regular field, I can probably hit from 70. But in a live operation, I feel really comfortable with hitting 60 in, 65 in, if they ever needed like a desperation kick at the end of a half or end of the game. But yeah, I would say my range is probably the same. It's just more of that ball flight and that ball height and how much power I can get on that ball. So it takes less time to get from my foot to the goalpost. So the wind and all the raining conditions, those don't affect it as much. That's where like the leg power I feel like comes in the most.
Appreciate it, man.
Perfect.
Thank
Thank you
you.
guys.